That's right guys, welcome back. I got the cylinders and the 3/4 side head in place and installed, all good to go. No rocker arm assembly yet. That's true, that's very true. But we gotta get on the other side. We're gonna get that all installed, and that is a plan for today. Get the heads, cylinders all installed, ready to rock and roll, and then next time we'll do the rockers, the distributor drive, fuel pump, and maybe the alternator generator stand. Yep. We've got our 1-2 piston cylinder setup here, and in the previous video I kind of talked about the rings and everything, and there was a little bit of ring filing that had to be done on the 1 and 2 compression. The oil rings I didn't have to do anything to, but I got that all done, cleaned up. If you've been paying attention to the social media, you know, Facebook group, Instagram, you've already seen that I've got this all set up, ready to rock and roll. All you gotta do is add some sealant here, and I like to use this sealant. It is the Permabond. I think that's what it's called. I can't see what it says. True Bond 1211. This is some pretty good stuff, guys. Look in the description below. I will link this if you're looking for some. It's good for high temps too. I used it on my Berg 5-speed transmission on the side covers, and boy oh boy, no leaks at all. We gotta get these all set up, ready to rock and roll as well. And with some of these push rod tubes, they come already compressed, so you have to open them up. I don't believe in putting sealant on this portion of the push rod tube, but I do believe putting it right here. So I got some of this. It's a sealing compound. It used to be called like an Indian head sealing compound. Works really good when it comes to sealing these against the push rod tubes. It's push rod tube time. I'll let you get these done ahead of time. I already opened up these 3. All you're looking to do is open up enough to where it compresses when you put the head on. And that's not a lot, guys. And see how it just opens up towards the bottom here? Zoom in. Opens up towards the bottom here a little bit. That's all you really need. That's it. I'm going to take care of this and be right back. Let's put a piston in. Some guys were asking about oil, and if you could look down in there, there is an oil bead. And I do put a little bit of oil, like a thin coat, on the cylinders themselves, but I don't put a ton because I don't want there to be break-in issues. And there would be. All right. Oh, you guys can't see? My bad. Hold on. Let me see if I can drop this down a little bit with one hand. All right. So I'm gonna kind of hold this in right here, and I'm gonna look from this side so I can see when my rod is lined up with the pin. Cool. And then I'm gonna push her on home. Come on, baby. There she goes. Just like so. And that's how it should push in, guys. If your pin is hard to insert through there, I put a little bit of oil on there. Now that does help. But if it's hard to push in there, there's something wrong, and you gotta take it back out, take a look at it. You might need to deburr that pin a little bit. Clean it up with some like 600 grit sandpaper or something, because you might have done something to it. All right, so looking at the clip, there's a round side and a flat side. Flat side goes out. Let's see if I can get this with you guys. the camera right here. See how I didn't put it in all the way? I want to hear it seat. So I'm pushing it. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I heard it. Yeah, buddy. That's the sound of bueno. Cool. So MDF on top, and we're looking to see this bad boy seat right there and drop you down so maybe you guys can tell me when it gets there. Cool. Also, part of your prep is making sure that your piston is facing the right direction. And yeah, that little arrow right there facing the flywheel. Always want to make sure of that. Some guys like to put a big mark on here just to keep it kind of idiot proof. You can do that if you want to. Let's put the next piston in, and then we're moving on to the head, baby. See you guys in a second. Hey guys, that time of the video to remind you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this content if you're enjoying it. Which I know you are, man. We're learning about 40 horsepower engines. Yeah, baby. And don't forget, support the channel going to this website, my website, JWClassicVW. Pick up a channel sticker and a flag tag to be cool. Now, back to the video. All right, guys, well, it's time to get to work on the cylinder head installation. But first, of course, we have to do the tins. And yeah, I put something on because it's Sunday morning. And it's a little bit chilly here in Houston today, but yeah, I bet you guys thought I was gonna forget the deflector plate. It's one of the most important parts to install on these air-cooled engines, right? Keeps those cylinders nice and cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at this because it's not exactly a great fit. So yeah, with this deflector tin that I picked up from CIP1, it's just one of the aftermarket ones from China, guys. You can see that I had to make a couple cuts here because it's not exactly fitting correctly. Let me zoom you in and show you what I mean. All right, so right down here at the bottom, it pops in like it normally would, but you can see like it's not reaching the 8mm studs where we needed to. Or actually, these are 10mm studs. You can get these tins in a 8mm and a 10mm, and then these snap into place. On the other side, I had to do this too, but we're gonna end up bending out these ends here and then bending these forward so that they actually go in to like these lower recessed fins to pop into place. And that's important that you do that because you need a nice tight fit. You don't want this thing popping loose on you when you're driving down the road, because then you're gonna have your cylinders overheating and not getting the proper air flow. So let me show you what I mean. Get this thing set up. So nothing a little bit of metal shaping and hammer action can't fix. We want to go ahead and just bend these tabs back first. We'll bend them into position around the cylinders once we get this thing installed. This isn't very heavy gauge steel. It's actually pretty light gauge steel. Hammer. And it's a back and forth type deal until you get to where you need to be on the shape that you want. But I just matched up, well, almost matched up the plunge on both sides here. So let's go take a look and see where we are. All right. And see, I'm going to be going down in between these fins a little bit lower, not on the top. That snaps in good. Let's see how we are on the top. It looks like it would be pretty close. Sometimes you got to use a hammer to kind of motivate these things in. Let's see if that helps. Hey, hey, hey. That's it. She's in there. And that's what you want, guys. It took me like 5 minutes to get that right, so don't freak out if things aren't fitting correctly the first time you go to put it in. I'm going to shape these outer fins now up around the cylinders. And don't worry, your heads aren't going to hit those. All right, guys, now that we have our tin fitted into place and it's nice and secure the way we want it to be, we don't want that thing flopping about, we can go ahead and get ready to put on our cylinder head. So I like to go ahead and kind of just move it down on here just a little bit over the studs before I put the push rod tubes on, because it's a juggling act. And if you've done this before, then you know it's a juggling act. Make sure that we get the studs in on all sides. Work it down just a little bit, right about here. And we're gonna go ahead and put a little bit of oil on here. And the reason why I don't put any sealing compound on here is because when these start to push down in, that sealing compound can keep the actual seals from seating and kind of moving into position. While we're moving the push rod tubes down in and everything, there's a seam on these. And this seam is supposed to be facing up. And that's because oil passes through these tubes and these seams can fail over time. And the last thing you want is oil coming up out of this seam. So we'll go ahead and set these right here for now. We're going to oil them up, and all you'll kind of see the juggling act going on as I'm trying to move this into position. When it starts to drop, you just don't push too hard. You want to adjust these things. I'm going to show you another trick here in a second about fixing the push rod tubes once you get these down in place, because sometimes you'll accidentally bend some stuff that you didn't mean to bend. So the easiest way that I've found is I just find the seam. There's my seam. Just turn it up. Find the seam. Turn it up. Up. And up. There we go. So this is just preference, and not everybody is going to do this, but I take a little 13mm socket, and sometimes the push rod tubes get a little jacked up, so I take this and I kind of just wind it around inside of here. It helps center up the seal too before you start torquing things down. You know, everybody's got their little tricks, little things that they do. That's one of mine. It's time for some hardware. These washers that I put on the inside of the head, I go ahead and put some sealant in here. I'm going to use that 3-bond 1211. I use it on the other side too. I'm just going to use it right here to seal the threads, because oil gets inside of here and oil will inevitably start trying to find its way back to the back side of these studs and then leak it out, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm going to put some oil, or not oil, but some sealant on the washers here and help prevent that. We don't want that happening. All right, guys, well, it's time to torque down the head, and you can see that there's two different sequences kind of like denoted on here within the book. I've got a little bit of shadowing going on. This is the first one, and you can see, like I was telling you, that it's 1, 2, 3, 4 to torque down within the head itself to push down the push rod tubes and get the seals to seat. And then it's 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we come back, and that's at a lower torque. The first one's at a lower torque, 7 pounds. I usually go 10 foot-pounds. And then we come back at 22 to 23 foot-pounds for the final torque, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's go ahead and knock this out with the head. Yeah, baby, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now there's an idea with torque wrenches. You guys seen I was kind of pushing in some places. You want to draw the torque wrench to you when you're coming on your final torque. Definitely want to pay attention to that when it comes to the final torque of 22 to 23 foot-pounds. Let's go ahead and take a look at the push rod tubes so we can see they're all straight. Push rod tubes look all good, all aligned, all compressed. Make sure that all our seams are up, which they all are, so we're good to go there. Bueno, baby. Let's go ahead and move to the final torque. 22 to 23 foot-pounds. For me, it's easier just to go to, let's see. Let's go ahead and go to 24 foot-pounds, because that's just, you know, there are hatch marks to get in between there, but I'm going to go to 24 foot-pounds. Let's rock and roll. And remember, our torque sequence has changed in the direction, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, so what I like to call this is the first torquing. I like to give a couple hours and come back and hit it one more time with that torque sequence, coming back at the 22 to 23 foot-pounds. I went 24 foot-pounds. Just something that I've found. Things seem to settle, and then you can go ahead and go torque them one more time before you start working on the rest of the engine, the rest of the stuff you have to do and go on. All right, guys, well, that does it. We have a long block, and that's been a long time coming. Went ahead and closed up the ports because the last thing we want to have happen right now is anything to fall down inside of there. But this has been a long time coming. Ooh, baby. So yeah, that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this content if you're enjoying it. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Get out in the garage, guys. Knock some stuff out one day at a time. Little things add up to a big thing. Next video is going to cover install distributor drive, distributor itself, fuel pump, and maybe we'll get to work on those rockers. But until next time, guys, this is Jason, JWClassicVW, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.